Imagine for a moment that you are standing at the edge of a great cliff. The wind is howling, pulling at your clothes. Behind you is everything you have ever known: your career, your reputation, your bank account, the people whose opinions you desperately try to manage. Ahead of you is the void. Now imagine that you slip. There is that split second of terror, the frantic clawing at the air, the realization that gravity has won. You fall. The wind rushes past your ears. The world you built rushes away from you. And then, impact. Darkness, silence. It is over. The story of you has ended. But then you open your eyes. You are still here. You are standing at the bottom of the cliff, unharmed. The fall happened. The death happened. But you are still breathing. How would you walk back into the world? Would you still care if your shirt was wrinkled? Would you still tremble before asking for a raise? Would you still bite your tongue for fear of sounding foolish? Of course not. You have already died. You have nothing left to lose. And a man with nothing to lose is the most dangerous, free, and powerful creature on earth. This is the secret that the ancient samurai kept close to their hearts. It is a terrifying instruction, often misunderstood by the modern mind. They said, meditate on the fact that you are already dead. Today we are going to walk into the dark to find the light. We are going to learn why the acceptance of your own end is the only way to truly begin. Let me tell you a story from the chaotic majesty of feudal Japan. There was once a young retainer named Kaito. Kaito was gifted with the blade. His technique was flawless. His speed was like the striking cobra. But Kaito had a sickness of the spirit. He was paralyzed by the weight of expectation. He served a great lord, and every time Kaito stepped onto the training grounds, his mind was filled with noise. What if I fail? If I lose this bout, the other retainers will mock me. If I am humiliated, I will bring shame to my family. Because he fought not to win, but not to lose, his movements were stiff. He hesitated. And in the world of the sword, hesitation is death. One evening, his master, an old warrior with eyes like deep, still pools of water, found Kaito sitting by the river, his head in his hands. "You possess the skill of a master," the old man said softly, "yet you fight like a frightened child. What is it that you carry in your scabbard? It seems too heavy for you." Kaito looked up, tears in his eyes. "Master, I carry my life. I value it too much. I am afraid that one mistake will shatter everything I have built." The master nodded. "Come with me." He led Kaito not to the dojo, but to the edge of the village, to the cemetery where the ancestors lay beneath moss-covered stones. The fog was rolling in, thick and cold. "Lie down," the master commanded, pointing to a freshly dug empty grave. Kaito hesitated, but he obeyed. He lay in the cold earth, looking up at the gray sky. "Now," the master whispered, "close your eyes. Imagine the battle is over. You were slow. The enemy's blade found your neck. You have fallen. Your body is cooling. The birds will soon come to pick at your bones. Your name will be spoken for a generation and then forgotten. The seasons will pass. The rain will wash away your grave marker. You are gone. You are dead. Kaito no longer exists." The master sat by the grave for a long time. Hours passed. Kaito lay in the dirt, his heart pounding at first, fighting the image. But as the night wore on, the silence of the earth seeped into his bones. He stopped fighting. He accepted the reality of the grave. He let go of his name. He let go of his future. He felt the absolute stillness of non-existence. When dawn broke, the master spoke. "Arise." Kaito climbed out of the grave. He brushed the dirt from his hakama. He took a deep breath of the morning air. The colors of the leaves seemed brighter. The sound of the river was like music. "You died last night," the master said, handing him a wooden sword. "The man who feared shame is buried in that hole. You are now a ghost, and ghosts cannot be killed. Ghosts cannot be shamed. Now, strike me." Kaito moved. There was no thought. There was no, "I am doing this." There was only the wind and the wood. He moved with a terrifying fluidity. He did not care if he hit or missed, because he was already dead. And in that total abandonment of self-preservation, his blade stopped 1 inch from the master's throat before the master could even draw a breath. The master smiled. "Welcome to life, Kaito." We are not samurai. We do not carry steel at our hips, and we do not face death in duel at sunrise. But, my friends, we are fighting a war every single day, and just like Kaito, we are losing because we are too afraid to die. Our swords are our words, our art, our work, our capacity to love. Our death is no longer the cessation of breath. It is the death of the ego. It is the fear of rejection, the fear of a lower credit score, the fear of an awkward silence, the fear of being seen as a failure. We walk through life wearing heavy armor, protecting a fragile image of ourselves. We spend all our energy defending the walls of a fortress that doesn't even exist. We don't say, "I love you," because we fear the death of rejection. We don't start the business because we fear the death of our reputation. We don't dance at the party because we fear the death of our dignity. We hold on so tight to who we think we are that we never get to find out who we could be. The samurai's lesson is not a grim obsession with the macabre. It is a psychological hack of the highest order. It is the key to the cage. Let us break down this wisdom into 3 pillars that you can apply right now to the life you are living today. The first lesson is this: hope is a burden. I know that sounds wrong. We are taught that hope is a virtue, but in the context of action, hope is a form of begging. When you hope for a good outcome, you are placing your happiness in the hands of the future, a future that does not exist. When the samurai entered battle hoping to survive, his mind was split. Half of him was in the present, fighting. The other half was in the future, worrying. He was divided. A divided mind is weak. To meditate on being dead is to kill the hope of a specific outcome. If you go into a job interview hoping to get the job, you are anxious. You try to please. You are stiff. But if you go into that room accepting that you have already lost the job, that the rejection has already happened, you are free. You can speak your truth. You can be charismatic. You can joke. You have nothing to protect. The paradox is this: when you stop needing the outcome, you become the kind of person who gets the outcome. Drop the armor of hope, accept the worst-case scenario, make friends with it. Once you accept the worst, you are invincible. The second lesson: trying to save yourself causes you to perish. In Zen, this is called mushin, no mind. When an archer focuses on the prize, he misses the target. When he focuses on his own hands, he fumbles. Why? Because the conscious mind, the ego, is slow. It is a clumsy narrator that tries to control everything. Think of a time you were truly fluent in life. Maybe you were driving on a winding road or playing an instrument, or deep in a conversation where time disappeared. Were you thinking about you? Were you worrying about your reputation? No, you were absent. You were dead to yourself. And in that absence, there was pure action. The samurai meditated on death to enter a state of flow. By accepting they were already corpses, they bypassed the instinct to flinch. In your modern life, the flinch is the hesitation before you hit send on that creative project. The flinch is the apology you make before you even state your opinion. To practice this, you must catch yourself in the act of preservation. When you feel that tightness in your chest, that desire to run away or stay quiet, remind yourself, I am already dead. This embarrassment cannot hurt a ghost. Then act. Not because you are brave, but because there is no one left to be afraid. The third lesson is the most beautiful. Death is the great clarifier. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, said, "We are not given a short life, but we make it short, and we are not ill-supplied, but wasteful of it." We waste our time because we think we have an infinite supply. We hold grudges for years. We stress over traffic. We worry about the opinions of strangers on the internet. Why? Because we live under the illusion that we will be here forever. When the samurai meditated on his death each morning, he wasn't being depressed. He was cleaning his lens. If you knew with absolute certainty that your heart would stop beating in 1 hour, would you spend that hour arguing in the comment section of a video? Would you spend it worrying about the size of your nose? Would you spend it feeling jealous of your neighbor? All the trivial noise falls away. What remains is only what is true. Love remains. Beauty remains. The taste of your morning coffee remains. By accepting your mortality, you stop enduring your life and start devouring it. You stop saving the good china for a special occasion. You realize this breath is the special occasion. This brings us to the ultimate realization, the bonus life. If you accept the samurai's challenge, if you mentally accept that your life as you feel entitled to it is over, then everything that happens from this moment forward is a bonus. You are supposed to be dead. But look, you are eating a meal. What a gift. You are supposed to be dead. But look, you are hearing the rain against the window. What a miracle. You were supposed to be dead. But look, you have a problem to solve. Even the struggle is a privilege because the dead do not struggle. This shifts your operating system from expectation to gratitude. Anxiety lives in the gap between what you have and what you expect. When you expect nothing because you are dead, everything becomes a surplus. The fear of loss vanishes because you have already relinquished ownership. You become like the water in the river. You flow over rocks, you fall down waterfalls, you rest in deep pools. You do not resist the journey because you are not trying to hold on to a specific shape. So, my friends, here is my challenge to you tonight. Do not just listen to these words and nod. Do not let this be just another video you consume to feel wise for a moment. Tonight, when you lay your head on the pillow, try the ritual. Close your eyes. Feel the weight of your body sinking into the mattress. Imagine it is the end. Truly visualize the lights going out. Say goodbye to your ambitions, your worries, your possessions. Let them all turn to smoke. Feel the heavy burden of being you slide off your shoulders. And then in the morning, when you open your eyes, understand that you have been resurrected. The person who wakes up is not the same person who went to sleep. You are a ghost who has been given the incredible, impossible gift of one more day. Walk into the world with that secret, laugh at the absurdity of it all, take the risk, speak the truth, love without measuring the cost, because you are already dead. And that means finally you are free to live. The fire is fading. The night is yours. Use it well.